Hello, I am Kristen, and welcome to my channel on healing my body and mind through nutrition and exercise. Welcome back if you have been following along, and welcome if you are new to my channel. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button, like, follow along, and comment. I love to hear where you are on your journey. What has carnivore done for you? If you're just dabbling in and trying to figure out if it's right for you, where are you on your journey? My channel here, I am just solely telling you raw, open, honest on how my carnivore journey has been for me. I am not a doctor or a nutritionist, so anything that is said here on my channel is not scientific based on studies or anything like that. I like to just have a discussion with you, what I've read, what I've heard, what I believe to be true, and what has helped me on my journey in healing my body. So let's dive in today. I've been getting a lot of different questions, and I want to come in ever so often and answer these questions. So if you have any questions of your own, please leave them in the comments right now, and I would love to make a video based off of your question. So this is one of the questions that I got asked most recently. Can you eat other animal products other than red meat on a carnivore diet? Now, a lot of people will ask these questions because you will hear hardcore carnivores talk about how you should only eat red meat, eggs, butter, and salt. Those are the main things that you will hear. However, yes, on the carnivore diet, you can include animal products other than red meat. So you can include chicken, fish, seafood, game, eggs, dairy, organ meat, whatever is an animal product, you can incorporate into your diet. Now, if you have an allergy to dairy, do not include dairy. I personally love that I can include dairy into my diet because I love cheese. It would be something that would be very hard for me to give up, especially because I've had to give up so many other foods. And I love to add heavy cream to my coffee. I do also have coffee that is optional on the carnivore diet. You can either have coffee or tea, and of course, minimize the intake of what you are drinking there. Do not have coffee all day, high on caffeine or anything like that. Water is always best. So I like to just emphasize this: animal-based foods only, which means that you're excluding all plant-based foods. Plant-based, not only plants, but fruit, grains, and all the processed foods out there that you're eating. And this also includes making sure to learn how to read the ingredients in your spices. So, as a carnivore, we recommend that you only use sea salt, or I know people use Redmond's real salt. You can use that as well. I personally love to just use sea salt. Um, and if you don't have any allergies or any effects to using other seasonings, then you can slowly start to implement that. I like to sometimes for my chicken, I like to add garlic powder, onion powder. Make sure you are reading the ingredients on these spices though, because I have learned the hard way that sometimes, for example, Lori's salt, which is a seasoned salt that we like to use on our barbecue meat, has added sugar. So you just have to always read your ingredients. For a couple months now, well, more than a couple months actually, since I started the carnivore diet, I stopped using what we call it sazongoya. And it's a little packet that we like to make yellow rice, or we like to put it in our soups or on our meat or in our beans. And as an Hispanic, if you are Hispanic, you probably have used sazongoya, and it tastes absolutely delicious. But when I found out what's in these packets, not only red dye and other ingredients that are not that great for you, I took a step back and I decided to no longer buy this. Now, that was a little hard because my kids love when I make yellow rice, but you know what? They've also been okay with not having yellow rice. And so, what I like to do now when they do eat rice, I love to make homemade bone broth or homemade beef broth, and I add a little bit of that to the rice so that they're getting the nutrients of that when they are eating the rice. So you can kind of play with that with your kids. Now, for you, If you're starting carnivore, there is no rice. I have not had rice in over 6 months, which let me tell you, sometimes when I make it with that bean broth or bone broth, oh, it smells so good. And I will tell you that it is very hard for me not to take at least one little bite of that rice. I grew up on rice and beans, okay? As a Hispanic, that is, we eat that with every meal. And so it became a habit for 40 years. And it's a hard one to break. But I will say that a little over 6 months now, and I have not had rice, and I'm okay. So I you'll be okay too. That is my point here. So just always make sure to read the ingredients if you are using spices. But again, I recommend that you start with salt only. And yes, 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 you can have other animal products other than red meat. With that said, red meat is very important and so many nutrients, so many vitamins. And so definitely my main source of protein is red meat, but I love to switch it up. I talked about this most recently on my last podcast. I love to make chicken. I love to make seafood. Um, I just love to change it up. So you could go check out that video. I did a video on my top 5 foods that I love to eat that are easy to make on the carnivore diet. So go check that out. And I will be answering more questions throughout the week. So stay tuned. We have questions like, what time frame can you start implementing other foods? I have, why should I consider the carnivore diet? How is it okay to solely rely on carnivore and eliminate all food groups? And by removing veggies and fruits, how are you getting enough fiber solely on carnivore diet? So these are all these questions that are coming up, and I am so happy to be answering them. So stay tuned, and I will see you again tomorrow. And if you have not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, like, follow along, and again, put your questions in the comments section.